Running away from home. It sounds like an adventure, but it's a gamble with life itself. Picture this: a kid rebelling against the rules, the structure, the love of a home. The allure of freedom whispers in their ear, tempting them with the thrill of the unknown. But let's be clear, this isn't a grand escapade, it's a perilous journey. In the company of danger, they may find themselves entangled with the wrong crowd, becoming a player in a game where the stakes are frighteningly high. A game where the odds are stacked against them, where the price could be their freedom, their safety, even their life. They might find themselves in the clutches of a kidnapper, or become a casualty of violence. Or worse, they might spend their days within the cold, unforgiving walls of a jail cell. I was a kid who gambled, and I lost more than I could ever win. I was a rebellious kid, a maverick who refused to bow down to rules, who defied every authority figure. This was my mantra, my identity. I was the kid who couldn't be tamed, the one who questioned every rule, every decision handed down to me. In the heart of my youth, I was drawn to the allure of disobedience, of rebellion. It was intoxicating, a heady mix of adrenaline and freedom. I fell into the wrong crowd, a group that did not see the world in black and white, but in shades of gray. They were my comrades, my partners in crime, and together we defied the norms. But with rebellion came consequences. School became a distant memory, replaced by the harsh lessons of the street. I learned quickly, adapting to a life that was far from the sheltered existence I had known. The textbooks were swapped for drugs, the classroom for the unforgiving streets. Selling substances to support my new lifestyle became second nature, as easy as breathing. The fights were inevitable, a part of this new life I had chosen. They were brutal, raw, devoid of any rules. Every day was a battle, a struggle for survival. It was a far cry from the safety of my former life, but it was a choice I had made. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, my life spiraled further out of control. The law became my constant companion, an unwanted shadow that followed me everywhere. I was in and out of jail, my freedom a distant memory. I traded a warm bed for cold streets, a loving family for faceless strangers, and freedom for the inside of a jail cell. This was the price of my rebellion, the cost of my refusal to conform. I had become a prisoner of my own choices, my own defiance. But this is not where my story ends. It's merely a chapter, a part of my journey, a part of who I am. The streets were my teacher, and the lessons were harsh and unforgiving. This was the classroom where I learned the hardest truths of life, a place that lured me with the illusion of freedom, but instead shackled me with chains of regret and despair. You see, I was a rebel, a renegade who thought he knew better. I believed that I could carve out my own path, away from the watchful eyes of my loving parents, away from the confines of school, away from the rules that I thought were stifling my spirit. But the harsh reality was that I was simply a puppet, dancing to the tunes of bad company, wrong influences, and peer pressure. I thought I was living the high life, cutting classes, dabbling in drugs, and basking in the thrill of street fights. But all I was doing was trading a warm bed for cold park benches and stolen car seats. I was swapping a loving home for countless nights in jail. Life, as they say, is a great teacher, and I was a slow learner. But eventually, I did learn. I learned that the streets were not my friends, but my enemies. I learned that the rebel I thought I was nothing more than a pawn in the hands of others. I learned that the freedom I sought was not in running away, but in facing my responsibilities head-on. Looking back, I can see how my brother and sister made the right choice. They listened to our parents, they stayed in school. They surrounded themselves with positive influences. They understood that our parents were not our enemies, but our guides. They understood that the rules were not there to stifle us, but to help us grow into responsible adults. They understood that someone is always watching over us, guiding us, cheering for us, and praying for us. They became role models, not just for me, but for others as well. I wish I had made the same choices they did. I wish I had stayed away from the bad company, said no to drugs, and focused on my education. But it's never too late to change. It's never too late to make amends. It's never too late to choose the right path. So, here I am, sharing my story with you, hoping it will serve as a warning, hoping it will inspire you to make the right choices, hoping it will remind you that you are not alone and that someone is always watching over you.